Yeah, you should. Yeah. I'm going to
and stuff like that.
do this down over here. And this down over here. Oops. Where's Zoom go? Oh, there you are. This is the
Project now.
yeah.
Okay, members, apologies. We are now streaming live to YouTube. So Chair, you can go ahead and get the meeting started.
All right, mahalo. Before calling this meeting to order, I'd like to ask that if everyone could just please mute yourself if you're not speaking at the moment. And then also for commissioners, please refrain from using the chat feature on Zoom. All questions should be made publicly unless there's a computer connectivity issue. Uncle Des, would you mind just starting us out with a pule?
Oh, yeah. E puli kako, e ke akoa, ke ho mai kai ako ni mako, ia oe no ke e kalani. Me oe ke akoa me ko mako ola, Yesu Christo. Ke noi ako nei mako I ko o mai kai, e alakai ia mako, pili ko koke ako ia oe ke akoa. Ai olu e oha ia mako, mitu. Ai lama ia mako I ho'okahi. Mahalo ki akua, a me tini akua, me amatua. Ua puka, a mama ua noa, amene, amene.
Mahalo.
Easy.
Aloha mai kako. Good morning, everyone. The hybrid meeting of the Cultural Resources Commission will now come to order. Quorum has been established with, I'm sorry, staff, are there 5 members in attendance?
5? Yes, 5.
5 members in attendance. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. It is currently 10:09 a.m. Pursuant to Act 220, Sessions Laws of Hawaii 2021, which amended the Sunshine Law to allow meetings to be remotely conducted online, effective January 1st, 2022, the Cultural Resources Commission will host a hybrid meeting of online and in-person participants. An in-person location has been identified on the agenda for the public to provide testimony on agenda items and to view the meeting. This meeting can also be viewed live online. A link to the YouTube live stream is provided on the county website. The video recording will remain on the YouTube channel for those who are not able to watch it live. Reports and surveys reviewed during this hearing are available on the county website. Commissioners, please be reminded that only one person may speak at a time. Raise your hand to be recognized if you have a question or a comment. Commissioners, please introduce yourselves and the name of others present at your location, provided those individuals are 18 years or older. I'll start. I'm the chair. My name is Matthew Clark. Uncle Des, please go ahead. And I'm sorry, I'm by myself in my office at the moment.
So Uncle Des, how mea? Alone at home with my 2 dogs. And I'll be going into disguise shortly. You won't recognize me, but it is me.
Please, commissioners, just go ahead. I see you, Janet.
You look so smart, Uncle Des. Hi, I'm Dr. Janet Six, and I'm here with my buddy and then 2 dogs alone. Thank you.
Aloha kako. My name is Kealoha Kini, and I am no one's present here with me. It's just me and my dogs.
Hi, Commissioner Spielman. I'm here in the planning office in Hilo with these lovely folks.
Poor guy.
Aloha Tahiaka. I'm Wayne over here. I work for George Baker at the lot. I'm the manager.
Oh, thanks, Wayne.
Wayne.
We'll when we get to the that item, we'll get you time to introduce yourself. Mahalo. Is that all the commissioner staff?
It's dirty. Yeah.
Yes, that's everybody who's logged in right now.
CRC staff support joining us today are Bethany Morrison, Program Manager.
Morning.
Kim Tanaka, planner.
Morning.
Jean Campbell, deputy corporation counsel. Pursuant to HRS 92-3, interested persons who want to provide oral testimony may do so either at the beginning of the meeting when the board takes public statements on the agenda or immediately before the specific agenda item is called. Staff, please indicate if there are any members of the public wishing to provide testimony online or in person.
Chair, we didn't get any notifications. However, there's a couple of folks on the Zoom that I'm not sure if they're here to provide testimony or if they are just participating.
To folks on Zoom, would anyone like to provide testimony now, or you can wait until your agenda item is called?
Can I speak now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Please go
My
ahead.
name is Jim Mokuahai Kahuna Nui Maderis. I'm a descendant to these projects that's on the agenda. And here to listen, participate, and let my presence be known that we are the families of this Aina. And we're here for follow with whatever's happening to this Aina and to the kupuna buried on this Aina and all of that stuff related to these projects.
Like,
Aloha. Oh, sorry, Uncle Desi, go ahead.
no, just my kai. I love it.
Yeah, I'm Michelle Niihau, right? I'm secretary for Patekio Puko Ohana, and Mokoa is on a half.
Mahalo. You guys are good now. You'll have we're going to call the agenda item up next. Is there anyone else online wishing to provide testimony at this time? Okay. Moving on to old business of the commission. The first agenda item is Holly Nanea proposed amendment to condition L of ordinance 15-104. That's PL CRC 2026 4044. And this is a request by the planning director for the commission's review and recommendation on matters of cultural significance relating to condition L of ordinance 15-104. Condition L requires identification of an entity responsible for the management and care of the archaeological and cultural features on parcel 54 and conveyance of parcel 54 to the identified entity. And this is in Auhau Kea'e First, North Kona, Hawaii. TMK is 375-009-67 and 75-009-54. Although I think we've already heard testimony from the public on this matter. Also in attendance are George Baker, who is the manager owner of Kukui Development, Jessica Andrews, who's the planner, staff support for the Planning Commission. I know that Uncle Jimmy Maderos, he just spoke. He's a recognized descendant. Kim, have we heard from Curtis Tyler? Is he here?
Curtis is not here this morning. He did say that he was going to be joining, but doesn't
Okay,
look
I
like he's
texted
logged
him and
in.
he texted me back, having problems, need help.
Oh no.
Would
Okay.
you, are you able to give him a call, or should I take a short break to do that?
Yeah, I can actually give him a call.
Okay, if everyone doesn't mind just taking a little break, Uncle Curtis Tyler was involved in this, and we'd love to have him here to provide his testimony.
Want to say something?
He said it.
Hey, Matt, I just sent him another email with the Zoom link, but do you mind actually taking a quick break and calling him? Because I don't seem to have his number handy.
Okay, I'm gonna just turn off my camera and mute myself for a second. I'll be right back. I don't know if we take a 5-minute break for the meeting.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll be right back as soon as we can get Curtis Tyler online.
Move on.
Kim, I believe Curtis is on now.
Yes, I believe he is. Let me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it says it's connecting to audio. So, Curtis, are you able to hear us? Oh. Aloha, Curtis, can you hear us? You're muted. If you need to speak, you gotta click on your microphone button in the bottom left-hand corner. Sorry, Curtis. If you can hear me, click on your microphone in the bottom left-hand corner. Sorry, I'm gonna give Curtis one more quick call. I'm sorry.
Mute. It says to unmute.
Oh, there you go. We have you. We can hear you and see you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for your patience, everybody.
Okay, we are on. Are we good to go, staff?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. Thank you everyone for waiting. We're back online and we're on agenda item number 1. We do have lineal cultural descendants, Curtis Tyler and Jimmy Medeiros in attendance with us. And I think for this agenda item, we're going to allow them to participate as participants or testifiers. And so we can ask them questions directly and they'll be part of this. Is there a presentation that's going to be given by the applicant or anything?
No, there's no presentation. Just to continue or recap what we talked about, I think back in April or May, I think we were wondering, making sure that whatever descendant that I decide that we're going to convey this property to, or entity we're going to convey this property to, we got to make sure that the people have the financial wherewithal to maintain the property and take care of the property due to all the ongoing problems we have been having with the homeless folks and the trash and all that stuff on that property.
Okay. Thank you. And is Jessica, are you here, Andrews?
Yep.
Oh,
good morning.
Jessica, I don't know if someone, Kim or Bethany or Jessica, you'd like to just give us a kind of recap of where we're at and why we're all here today. Is that possible?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So this ordinance has come into our division and will go before the Planning Commission for an amendment. And so as part of that process, we review all of the conditions that were approved. And the most recent ordinance was in 2015 for the rezone. And so that has brought us to the point of addressing condition L among the other conditions. And the director felt that it was important that the CRC review that condition L is properly complied with, addressing the archaeological resources. So that's how we're here. Once we get through this process to everybody's satisfaction, it will go back to the Planning Commission for review, and the ordinance could be passed and then ultimately passed up to the County Council and amended. And so that's kind of the future prospects for where this condition and this ordinance is going.
Mahalo. So commissioners, just a little more of a summary is that back in May, the landowner came to us, or actually, yeah, came before the CRC asking for recommendations of community groups that might be appropriate stewards for this land. And condition L, in the way I understand it, is Mr. Baker is looking to develop parcel 67 with condominiums. There's an adjoining parcel, parcel 54, which is roughly 3 acres, that as part of original condition on this property is required to be conveyed to an appropriate, I believe, nonprofit group for stewardship. And, you know, he's looking for help with either identifying that group or coming up with alternative solutions so that our recommendations can be brought back to the CRC. And this was, so we're assisting the county in making a determination here, or a decision that will ultimately be voted on by the commission. I'm gonna, you know, Curtis Tyler, who just joined us, he was on the county, the council when this ordinance went through, I believe. He's familiar with this property. Curtis, is there anything you'd like to say before we ask questions and start discussing?
Yes, thank you. First of all, Kalamai, sorry to have caused a little bit of delay. I'm an old man and have a hard time getting into some of this stuff. I just heard people from the planning department say the ordinance is dated 2015. I do not have a copy of that. The rezone that I've been working off of is 04-22, and that's much older. That's Bill 367, and that's back on April 26, 2005. That was just after I left the council.
Yeah,
So
I can clarify.
Go ahead.
I'll just jump in to clarify, Curtis. That is indeed the original ordinance that you have.
Yes.
And it was amended in 2015. And so the ordinance that we're referring to was indeed first passed in 2005. And that's where condition L originated from.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so that's what I see in the documents from the developer, as well as yes, this is the documents from the developer from Betty Paluzzi, April 22nd, 2026. Is that correct, Mr. Baker?
That's correct.
Okay, and in there is a letter from you to Kim Tanaka dated April 22nd, 2026, consisting of 2 pages, and another letter from you dated on the first page, March 27th, 2026, and on the second page, March 20th, 2026, with your signature. Is that correct?
Is this a deposition or?
No, this is a letter from you to Andrews.
Okay.
Do we have those letters, Matt?
I'm looking at them right now. That is correct.
We have that. We have that.
Yeah, they were in the original May meeting. The 2 letters were attached, and so yes, those are the ones.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry.
So I just want to confirm that the date on the second page of the March 27th letter is incorrect. It should have been March 27th.
I see that as well. You were probably right that it should have been March 27th.
Okay, well, I thought I'd better get that on the record because it really confused me trying to put all this together. Okay, so yes, I do have that information. I do not have the amendment that was passed in 2000. In 2015. I don't have that.
Okay. I think today
I can get it afterwards. You know, we're in the beginning stage.
If you're comfortable, Curtis, we're hoping today to kind of talk story with you about these parcels and seeing who might be a good fit for this stewardship, and so we can make recommendations to the county council. And just if you're comfortable, maybe some of the commissioners could ask you questions.
Okay, well, if there's anybody else that is there testifying as the descendant, I'd prefer to have them go first.
Okay. Well, yes. Uncle Jimmy Medeiros is here as well.
Oh, thank you. And if it's okay with the group, I'll just hang back because I want to hear, he and I are relatives, and I want to hear what he has to say. We haven't seen each other for a while.
Okay. Jimmy, would you like to say anything before I open up to questions and discussion?
Yeah, I would like to say that as far as this project, both the development section and the other one in question, I need to have site visit to these properties because as descendants, I don't know how we never get notified in the first place for be part of this whole thing because we're already related to the Aina, we're related to the graves, we're related to all of the cultural features and everything. So as part of my own due diligence, before I can agree to anything, I need to have all of the data possible, all the AIS, EIS, all of those kind of information. I need to see where all the sites was recorded, how they was recorded, was they missing anything, and, just to make sure that all of the information that I need as a lineal descendant is acceptable.
And I'm sure that's possible. We're kind of just the initial step where Mr. Baker reached out to the county referred him to us, and we're now trying to identify groups. And I think moving forward, I'm sure all that is possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for Uncle Jimmy. If you could sort of share, tell us about your organization and some of the things that you've been involved in over decades now. When we had our last meeting, I shared a little bit about the Hokule'a Cultural and Parks Association and what you've done there, but perhaps you could share more with this group and with Mr. Baker about some of the things that you've been able to accomplish and do.
Yeah, sure. My organization is called Protect Keopuka Ohana. We're formed for protect our iwi more than anything else, and all of our cultural sites in all over Hawaii. I mean, Protect Keopuka is everywhere, on every island, advocating for the protection of our kupuna iwi and of our sacred sites. Hokulea is just one of the many projects that we work on that have many burials on Hokulea, several hundred. And each and every we Protect Keopuka Ohana has litigated a lot of these different developments in the effort to protect and advocate for all of our sacred sites and sacred places. And where we're at today, we oversee a lot of these projects culturally, and we participate in the care of the sites and manage the sites. And this is a daily thing that goes on within our organization for many years now, and many projects. And that's why I was interesting for receive all the data, so I can take a real good look at the building envelope, the parcel that is being talked about, stewardship, and I guess we have a lot of experience in these areas, and I was wanting to once I receive all the data and stuff, I can have a better, more clear position on how we see the whole project. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm answering your question completely, but I trying to. But as far as experience dealing with landowners and projects, and when it regards to cultural sites and historical and ancient Hawaiian sacred wahipanas, that has been our main priority, and we caretake a lot of sites. I mean, lots of sites all over the Hawaii, military installations everywhere. So I'm happy to be here in this meeting today and to meet all of you guys, meet the owner, and like I say, hopefully at some point can have a meeting, the owners, and discuss what's the project plans and how we can maybe interact.
And is Keopuka Ohana, is that a 501c3
Yes,
nonprofit?
it's a 501c3, and it's fully functioning. It's good standing and all that stuff was really important for us to be in good standing because we do so much different areas, consultation and actual physical caretaking of properties.
Mahalo. I think when this came before us in May, before the Cultural Resource Commission, I think Mr. Baker, maybe you could clear it up, but you were looking for advice on groups in the community that maybe you could partner with, and we didn't feel comfortable recommending without talking to descendants. And I think you also had a suggestion about maybe the homeowners association. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, I spoke with my lawyers on the Big Island and also in Honolulu, and they told me that because we're all concerned about, it seems like the gentleman just spoke, he's financially capable of taking care of that, which would be good to know. But my attorney suggested as a alternative too is if they wanted the association to participate in taking care of the parcel 54 that we're talking about, the 2.6 acre parcel roughly that we're talking about, that the association could be conveyed to like a 50% to this gentleman's 501. If he's the one that we decide to go with, it would be like his 501(c)(3 entity and the association on a co-ownership basis. Then the association of the project could financially participate in taking care of the property under the guidance of the other entity, the cultural resource entity that we're talking about right now. So that's one alternative. Second alternative is as a group, we identify an entity like this gentleman says he has, and I can, once I get my 5-year extension from the commission, then I can convey the property to his entity, and then the association of the 92 condos doesn't have anything to do with that parcel at all. And then it's a responsibility of his entity or her entity to take care of it.
Mahalo for the summary. I see Jeff Darrow with his hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the Cultural Resource Commission, Jeff Darrow with the Planning Department. I just wanted to briefly chime in. The reason why we're here at this time, as Curtis had mentioned, originally in 2005, there was a change of zone, and in there was a condition placed in there that the applicant shall identify an entity that would be responsible for the management and care of the archaeological and cultural features on that portion of TMK 75954. In 2015, when it was amended, there was a slight change to condition L, which added the phrase, let's see here, within 1 year of the effective date of this amendment, the applicant shall identify. So this has kind of been an ongoing project for coming up to 20 years now, and the applicant is requesting additional time. This is something that definitely needs to be taken care of as far as moving forward. It's good to see the applicant come forward to seek advice and clarification from the Cultural Resource Commission. We would likely continue to place the same language in the updated condition L that the applicant, within 1 year of the effective date of the amendment, if it gets passed, that they be able to make this transfer happen and oversight. I do have one concern, and I believe that's why the applicant is requesting kind of a shared responsibility, and that is that it doesn't seem right for somebody that's identified to manage the archaeological and cultural features to also have to police and, you know, clean up and have to take care of all the trash and the other things that are happening on the property. It, you know, it might be good to consider another entity that would take care of that aspect, unless, of course, the entity that's chosen has no problem with that. But I know that this has been a problem in the past. There's been fires that have been started. You know, there's been all kinds of criminal activity and stuff. So just wanted to just speak to that aspect. And I appreciate Curtis being here. Thank you, Mr. Tyler, for taking your time out. And Mr. Maderas, aloha.
Mahalo, thank you. That helps clear it up. Please, George, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just to go back with on and expound on what Jeff Darrow just stated. It is an ongoing problem with, and I've been dealing with the police department and several other groups to keep the homeless and the activity and the problem with the homeless and the transient people to a minimum, but it is an expense. And that's why my attorney suggested for me to suggest that we maybe do some type of a co-ownership with the archaeological group that oversees the preservation of the archaeological sites, that we do some type of thing with the association, identify the association in that group, so that way the financial burden of keeping the transients and the trash and the homeless problem and any criminal activity down on that parcel at bay would be a burden of the condo association. And I think that might be a way to mitigate the situation that's ongoing, that I've been dealing with for the last 10 or so years of owning this property. And I do want to make it clear that there was a previous owner in 2005 or 6 or whatever. I bought this property in 2013 and finished up the entitlement or amended the entitlement in 2015. So I have not owned the property for 25 years or 20 years. I've owned it for 10 years.
Mahalo. And I was out there doing the archaeology back in the early 2000s, and it was a mess back then. I'm sorry, I see, Mr. Darrow, do you have something to add?
Yeah, sorry about that. I did forget to mention that on condition K, there's this unique requirement that the area of parcel 54, which is currently zoned Ag 1 acre, be put into the open zoning by a council initiated rezoning. I'm sure that this would be the best time to do that. So in conjunction with the applicant's request, we'll work with the council to see if we can get that council initiated rezoning for that property to move out of the agricultural 1 acre into the open zoning, again, for protection and preservation. Thank you.
Mahalo. And before I open it up to more questions, Mr. Duarte, did you say you were the caretaker currently for the property?
Aloha, yes, I am. I have a little statement to make also. I've been taking care of the land. Aloha, my name is Wayne Duarte here. I live on the Big Island. For more than 10 years, I have regularly take care of the land monitored on the property located at 75-2016 Hualalai Road in Kailua Kona within the Waiaha Ahupua'a. I am aware of the presence of the Iwi Kupuna ancestry Hawaiian burials on the property, as well as a Heiau Hawaiian rock wall associated with protecting by the Heiau and the areas of the cultural significance. I recognize the importance and sensitivity of this area and have always made it a priority to respect, protect, and preserve them. In the past, I have cleared limited areas of brush and vegetation for fire prevention and to help maintain fire breaks. I also have conducted regular walkthroughs of the property weekly, and I also placed orange protective fence around the heiaus in an effort to discourage entry and prevent ancestral disturbance. My intention has always been a malama and protect the land. I have never intended to disrupt, damage, or disrespect any Iwi Kupuna burial sites, heiau, Hawaiian rock walls, or any cultural resource located on the property. As a Kanaka Mo'ole who has born and raised here in Hawaii, I have deep personal respect for our kupuna, our culture, and our responsibility of caring and cultural significant places. Culturally, I work through and monitor the property approximately once a week. During this visit, I frequently encounter unauthorized individuals and trespassers entering the property. On several occasions, individuals have attempted to establish makeshift shelter or camps and have left behind substance amount of rubbish, including alcohol containers, substance drug-related debris, abandoned carts, wagons, and other discarded materials. My continued presence on the property is intended to discourage any authorized access, illegal dumping, and establishment of camps, reduce potential fire hazard, and most importantly, help protect the Iwi Kupuna heiaus, Hawaiian rock walls, and the current significant areas of the disturbance, damage, or disrespect. For more than a decade, I have approached my responsibility for the property with respect and care. My purpose has been and continue to be to protect, preserve, and respect stewardship of the land, its cultural resources, and our Iwi Kupuna who rest there. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Yeah, we all thank you for taking care of this land, and hopefully we can continue. I'm sure anyone who takes over stewardship would love to hear from you and continue to work with you. I see Mr. Baker with his hand up again.
Yeah, one last thing. I want everybody to know that Wayne Duarte has worked for me on this property for close to 12, 13 years since I've owned it. And he also protects two other parcels I own on the up in the Palisades Estates area, large parcels of 15-acre and another 13-acre parcel I own up on that area. So Wayne has been very good at working with the police and keeping the site cleared and protecting the archaeological sites that have been identified on the property.
Mahalo. I see Janet with her hand up.
Unmute. Matt, you said you worked over there. I was just looking in. Hi, Chris. When was the AIS done? Was there one done or?
There was an original AIS done by Paul Rosendahl Incorporated back, I think it was in the 80s, essentially. They did a much larger area, and they did document, I believe, heiau, several burials on parcel 67, which is the one where Mr. Baker intends to develop the condominiums, I believe is still the project. There was a supplemental AIS done back, I want to say around 2004 or 5, with follow-up data recovery, burial treatment planning, and preservation planning. 54 had no additional work has been done on it since the Rosendahl. I have been out there. The large structures are very impressive, and there are known burials. I don't know if they're on parcel 54 or right next door on another privately owned parcel.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that's a 21-year-old AIS, even if it's supplemental to the 1980. There's no SHP numbers that I can see in Hi, Chris. I just reached out to Stacy Naipo, the Shipty librarian, via email to see if she could pull up anything for me. So I just wanted to ask that question because I just try to get my head around, how these, I mean, obviously, like you said, you've been over there, but where I might find that info. So maybe I probably can't find Rosenthal's 1980, but I could probably get the
I
205.
can provide it all if
Yeah.
you need it.
Oh, thanks. Cool. No, it's just nice to know because when you look at, I use Hi Chris. I'm like, it's not there. So I can make sure that Mike adds it. Mike Wall adds it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You should. Curtis, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the questions and the comments from the previous speakers. Mr. Excuse me. Let's see, Mr. DeWart. Is it Wayne DeWart? Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you mentioned you're taking care of the burials in Waiaha, and this is not in Waiaha. This land is not Waiaha. Do you know what the name of the land is?
Walleye Road, that name or that road, that property?
Well, the Hualai Road is there, but you mentioned you were taking care of the burials in Waiaha. This is not, and you say you go there weekly. This property we're talking about is not in Waiaha.
What is that property called then, sir?
Oh.
What do you call it?
I'll let the people that are in charge of this meeting speak to that, or perhaps the owner.
I'm going to interrupt if I can for a moment. I'm sorry. This is Jean Campbell, the Deputy Corporation Counsel, working with the Cultural Resources Commission. I think we need to limit our discussion. And really, at this point in the meeting, we're really only in public testimony. And I do recognize that the Cultural Resources Commission wants to have a more inclusive fact-finding process than their standard 3 minutes of testimony. But we do need to limit the discussion, such as it is, or the testimony, to just the matter at hand, which is identifying, helping the Cultural Resources Commission identify appropriate potential caretakers for the property. So if Mr. Tyler, if I can ask you to just limit your input to what might be positive and helpful for them, rather than criticizing or
Thank you. I was
their
not
parties.
criticizing. I was asking a question.
Understood. But if we can stay focused,
the land is named Auhaukea'i 1 and 2. It is probably the most sacred property in all of Hawaii. Does anybody recognize those two names? Okay. It is where the Queen Mother, Keopuolani, lived and gave birth to Kamehameha II, the third, and Princess Nahi'ene'ena. Was anyone aware of that? Mr. Baker, are you aware of that?
Repeat your question.
Were you aware of the sacredness of this property, which is in very poor shape right now, as you pointed out?
Yeah, and I am aware of it because you and I spoke after the council meeting in 2015, and you did let me know that at that time.
Yes.
And as far as Wayne Duarte goes, he walks that property that you're talking about, my property. I own both 67 and 54. Wayne takes care of both of those properties on Hawai'i Road and Kuakini Road. He takes care of them every week, and he's been doing it for the last 12 years.
Okay. Well, thank you. I just heard him say Waiaha, so that's why I just need to clarify.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I got it wrong.
Yeah, thank you. Just need to clarify because there's a big difference. And I just want to say to the commission today that the significance of this property as it relates to Hawaiian history and as it relates to the Hawaiian people, the Hawaiian race is very, very significant. And I would I appreciate the comments from the director and his thanks, and I want to let everyone present know that I continue and plan to be directly involved in the protection, preservation, and proper care of these traditional and cultural properties from which I am descended, and also to say that I am not here today to create any problems whatsoever. I am here to state the facts, because I think the facts have been confused. And Madam Corp Counsel, I'll finish shortly. And I think that the opportunity for recognized descendants to be heard has not occurred. I have never seen the burial treatment documents. I have never seen what's happened with the burial treatment, what the preservation plan is, what the burial treatment plan is, and so we need to review those things. And Mr. Baker, I'm more than happy to review those. I'm quite familiar with these kinds of documents, but I need to be brought up to speed. And I'm very grateful that you were testifying today in person from San Francisco via the Zoom. I'm also grateful that the director is here, as well as the Cultural Resources Commission. I think there's opportunity here to do what is pono. And I know for sure that myself and Mr. Medeiros take it on as our personal kuleana. And so I'll just end by saying, please keep us in touch. We site inspection and all the documentation from the burial treatment, from the Burial Council and their directions will be very helpful. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to share my mana'o with you. Aloha.
Mahalo. I do see several commissioners with their hands up. I'm going to start with Uncle Des, please.
I was reminded to behave and stay in my lane. But when it first came across the commission, I was surprised to see Hawai'i. It was renamed, and I'm glad to hear that Wayne Duwart shared that name. I had concerns, and I wanted to make sure that I'm here for the, as this goes on, but it's a vahipana. It's a vahipana, and I learned that from my tutu when we went, but that's a vahipana, and I'm concerned that I'm not sure, I forget if he was crowned or seated, but I don't think it matters because there's other activities very deeply rooted in our Hawaiian culture and Polynesian culture, especially further up on this ahupoa. So when this, if it describes the severe penalty of desecrating a vahipana. And I'm very pleased that we heard from Mr. Baker, from Jeff, and from our Kanaka that wants to take on this place. But I just wanted to add with that he mentioned about involving the homeowners association. I don't know how the heck they got there, but they're there. And hopefully one day we can resolve. But I think they should be involved. They should clean up. They live there. That's a kuleana. You come out, you lepo mouse, you have to a good example is kaho'olawe. So I just wanted to add that I have a concern for that aina. That aina, it's vahipana. And with that being said, I reclaim my time.
Mahalo. I'm going to go down the line and Janet, you're next.
So Stacy did send me the 1979 and the 1980 and the 2004 barrel treatment plans. So I did get those, and I'm happy to share those if Mr. Tyler would like to see them. I am the county archaeologist for the county of Maui, and so I'm working directly on the Wahipana of Mokula and local Mokuhinia. So the connection between these two sites is very interesting to me as a more Maui-based archaeologist who lives on the Big Island. So I just wanted to put it out there that I got those documents. I had no idea it was this important of a site. And so listening to Uncle Des and listening to Mr. Tyler and others, I think it's really important that, and all the testimony so far, that it does get the right steward and the right respect is given to that place, because I had no idea that Keopulani, she's buried. I was just at her grave on Sunday in Lahaina. So, I'm very interested in if Mr. Tyler would like to reach out to me, I can definitely provide him those documents from the state. Thank you.
Mahalo. Commissioner Kinney, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I just kind of wanted to come back around to, as Jean said, sort of the task at hand, which was to help identify lineal descendants and those with organizations that could potentially take on this stewardship. I think we have one person here that has a direct lineal descendantship to the space, and also has a 501c3 organization that's capable. But I guess my comment is just perhaps it might be good to spend some time, because we have a limited amount of time, but to spend some time asking some of these questions that have come up. I know initially they were hesitant to make any recommendations early on, but if there is some hesitancy, like maybe this is the opportunity to ask some of those questions. Or perhaps Janet just mentioned, we got to find the right person. We have a person here in the room. We have an organization. Are we asking the questions that we need to ask right now? I guess is my comment.
Thank you. I think you're getting back on track. I don't think we are asking the questions yet. And I think the question we need to ask is one about should the stewardship include the homeowners association, as has been offered by Mr. Baker, as maybe of folks who can help clean up the trash and the homeless and work with one of these groups. And another question, are there other folks that should be reached out to included in this conversation? I think is another question maybe we should ask. Mr. Baker, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to have some direction, since it's been 5 months of discussing this now. If we can have some direction that Jeff Darrow and I and all of us, so we can move forward with this onto the council at the end of the day. And I also want to say, to validate what my project manager Wayne Dwardy's been doing. Anybody can reach out to Officer Dwayne Sleuth, Officer Dwayne Sleuth over at the Hawaii PD there on the Big Island, and he's been working with us for probably the last 10 years or so on the problem areas on this site. So if anybody has any questions for him, they can reach out to Officer Dwayne Sleuth. He's available via email or anything like that, and he can give everybody the police version on what the problems are on this site if anybody's concerned about it.
Mahalo. Commissioner Six, go ahead, please.
So I'm going to ask a question that's pertinent. Does the party that's here that has the lineal and cultural descent and the capacity have enough funding to do this? Or would they be looking for funding in the form of grants? Or are they looking for funding? Maybe the HOA could help with funding. And I know when we worked up Palauea Cultural Preserve, I mentioned this on Maui, Everett Dowling built into the sales of the parcels, a certain percentage went to the cultural preserve. Of course, that preserve has never been restored yet. So sometimes even good intentions, but do you have enough funding and enough manpower, woman power to do this? I know you have the capacity culturally.
Funding is something we're always looking towards. Your inquiry is perfect. We will look at all of the different options that make it
I would think
Well,
too,
if we
because of the
if we take this
restoration of
on.
Mokula, this would be an interesting Wahipana to maybe look at some of the funding opportunities that we got. And I cannot do archaeological work on Big Island, but I was a grant writer for a long time. So if there's any way I could help identify in order to make this the Wahipana it is, and also, you know, address the social concerns that are created by rampant development and COVID and everything else that happened. We never used to have this kind of a homeless problem. So it's more in the recent, you know, last 20 years. So I'm happy to help if I can. I just want to make sure, because I don't doubt your capacity and your heart and all that, and your connection to it. So we want to make sure you have enough funding, and maybe that's where an HOA could help. Some portion where they're not on the parcel, because maybe they shouldn't be helping clear, right? But or they could be trained how to appropriately enter the area, or they just maybe provide some funding for you folks to do the Malama the Aina.
Funding with
I welcome your manao,
yes.
and would like to continue this conversation with you.
Mahalo. Go ahead, Commissioner Kinney. Sorry, you're muted.
Sorry, Colin. Yeah, I just wanted to follow that up, just with again, sort of this model that kind of emerged out of the Hokulea development with the Cultural Parks Association, where the homeowners association, they pay a fee. They just pay, like, you know, some fee that comes along with owning a property in that development, and that some portion of that goes to the Cultural and Parks Association, and that's how they afford to, you know, keep staff on and to do some of the work that they need to do. I don't know if that's something that you know, Mr. Baker or this development would consider, or maybe that's kind of what you're talking about with this co-ownership. But something along those lines seems like that would be a good thing, you know.
Mahalo.
Sorry, adding on to that, this is terrible. This is the Howley in me. There's a value added to your condos if you have a beautiful Wahipana next to it. There is a value not only for the cultural people, definitely, but you can look at it like you would have this amazing, important site. And people travel all over the world to see the pyramids and to see this and to see that. And Hawaii is one of the few places that archaeology sometimes poo-pooed and has to be mitigated instead of celebrated. So it's just a thought that if the HOA were to help support the work of Mr. Medeiros' group, it would have a benefit. I hate to be so crass, but thank you. But I am crass, so.
I think Mr. Baker has offered that, so I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I basically, that's what my attorneys are offering the association. The association, for it to pay out, it has to be part of something. So if we can work with whatever group is identified, that they own half of it, or the association owns 25%, they own 75%, whatever it is, the HOA has to have some type of ownership for it to put money toward it, because otherwise it's due to the laws of HOAs, it cannot just be paying out fees to anything. It has to be part owner of that property.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt with a quick question here. This is for Curtis and Jimmy. You know, thank you for showing up and representing. Are there other folks that need to be part of this conversation that we're not including here, or is this a good start? And as this grows, we can involve other folks. Any thoughts on that?
This is a good Kalamai, Curtis here. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm born and raised here. I'm a Kupa Aina. And even though I have a Howley last name, I've been very involved in burials for probably 40, 50 years and protecting them. So yes, I think there's an opportunity for this kind of collaboration. And I would say that Jimmy and I probably need to get together and talk some more about this, because we do have many family members, and I'm sure there'd be interested. And I think while I realize Mr. Baker says that 5 months has been a while for him to wait, some people have waited for over 100 years on this particular thing. And as the gentleman pointed out earlier very correctly, along with the archaeologists, this is a wahipana, absolute wahipana. And the Hawaiian gentleman who pointed it out said that he thought it was appropriate that kanaka maoli, that na kanaka on it, that have connections. And I think that this is something that needs to be very carefully considered, because as the archaeologist pointed out, moku ola in Lahaina is very very important to Kanaka, and as she knows, Keopuolani is buried there, along with one of her children. And so I think that while 5 months may seem like a long time, maybe even 13 years, if I heard Mr. Baker correctly, that since he's on this property, this site is so important and so sacred that we just can't deal with this in a short period of time or limited amount of time to speak. Hawaiians have to get together and work this out. And I appreciate that everyone has made contributions today. You've been very patient with me, and I say mahalo nui, malama pono a hui ho a kia kuapu.
Mahalo. Mr. Medeiros, any thoughts on if are there other groups we should reach out to, or are you feeling comfortable with working with Curtis moving forward?
Yes, I agree with Curtis. His mana'o is the same mana'o I have. That we got a lot of family, and we got a lot of some due diligence that we got to do on our side.
Yep.
So, but I appreciate everybody and all the mana'o shared today. Thank you.
Uncle Des, please.
I think we've reached a point where we should move on with this. We understand our responsibility, not even kuleana, it's our stewardship. But I just wanted to share from a cultural lens that, I'm surprised it took this long for the kahea whaia help me. I think that kahea came from our kupuna, or iwi kupuna. You may own the subsurface, all the buildings, but the aina was blessed to our people millions of years ago. When I just did a blessing yesterday in Hokkena. I said, I don't bless the building. I bless the aina and what's located in the aina. You may have built over it, but the mana and the spirituality of our li'i, who was on now, it remains. And it concerns me that it took this long, from the previous ownership to your new, and it just troubles me that we built over our vahipana. As a suggestion to whoever may, and I put it on the record, I think that whole place, and HOA has no choice. They bought this land. Yeah, Judge Baker bought this land. They went into whatever agreement. And as we all know, homeowners association, community association is dysfunctional. So for my understanding, when you become the landowner, it comes with everything that's embedded in it. I know everything. You don't get to choose. This is part of it. It may not be in the rules, but as in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm, those rules exist, which are stolen from us. Yeah, stolen from my kupuna, from our kupuna. So just that, Look like we get two guys that can work together. One thing I want to point out, I have always hear all this stuff going on, but there's nothing that we're talking about. We get yesterday, which I'm not planning today, but I only hear conversations about tomorrow. And my tomorrow is our ancestors, our kupuna in training our children, our kiki Hawai'i that's, still in the womb yet. My suggestion, whoever takes this up was given this opportunity. E pulikako e keakoa, he presents opportunity that we treat these places of Ahipana and Wana. Halau Imina'awau is constructed there, which becomes an educational piece. It becomes a classroom. We want to help cleaning up and we trust the homeowners association. I don't know if you get Kanaka living over there, but I know once you bring the children there and you give that opportunity for this Vaipana, knowing very well, especially from the immersion schools, not from the industrialized Department of Education, but immersion schools. I was just with them yesterday. Point out to them that when you receive these blessings, you kukua, and not even kukua, you give without no expectations of return. And that's our pathway for our children. Turn them into a school. Have the school come. Have classrooms over there. I've done this before with several heiaus, especially on Maui and on Kauai. It's about time we turn it over to our kupuna in training. Have them part of the process. Have them part of the application that I will give them to the kids now. I think we're done with this. I think we should move on. Right, Gene?
Thank you. We do need to make a motion before we finish. I think we should summarize what our comments are. I'm going to let Commissioner Kinney, I see his hand raised.
I get one more question. We have a motion or we have a request for the staff?
The motion would be to probably for the staff to create a letter to summarize our comments, and that motion would be either for us to vote on it at the next meeting or for the staff to write it and for the chair to review it before it goes out. So I don't think I'm not going to ask for a motion yet, but I do want to summarize our comments just kind of briefly. But I'm going to let Commissioner Kinney his question first.
Mahalo.
You keep this one.
Oh, did we just lose? Oh, Kilola, did you have a question?
Oh, can you hear me okay? All right, sorry about that. Yeah, just to not summarize this important conversation, but I just want to make sure that we leave this meeting with providing the support that Jimmy and Curtis might need moving forward. I heard kind of like passing some kuleana now over to them. We've done this 5-month exhaustive search. This is what we found that's relevant to this project. And, we're sort of, I don't know, it kind of sounded like we're passing on some kind of torch here. And I just want to make sure that there's enough support around Jimmy and Curtis in terms of providing the information they need, the access that they need to make the assessments that are going to come forward. Yeah, I guess that was sort of my main thought, that we didn't leave the situation here with, okay, well, tell us what you come up with, somewhere down the line, and that whatever motion that we do propose is kind of in some kind of box, like in terms of, we're going to come back and get this thing moving forward in terms of our support of Jimmy and Curtis and what they decide is appropriate.
Mr. Baker, I'm going to let you go quick, and then Janet, one more time, then we're going to try and summarize kind of our comments so that we can make a motion about the letter.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just want to reiterate that I have owned this property for 13 years. I have taken in consideration the burial site. That's why I moved the project, 100% of the project up on the 67 parcel instead of the 54. I left 2.6 acres plus or minus as open space to respect the burial sites and to make sure that nothing disturbs those burial sites on 54. So that's a substantial amount of property. Out of the 9 acres, I've left close to 2.5 of it open space out of respect for the burial sites and to preserve those burial sites. That's it.
Thank you, Janet. Please go ahead and then
Yeah. No, I was trying to put my email in the chat. So if Mr. Tyler or Mr. Medeiros would like to get some of the documents that I have. And also I just want to suggest Noho Papa has Julio Papa, the student training program. They did a lot of work in Lahaina. So I just want to say I can be a resource to them for providing SHPE documentation. And that's all I had to say. Thanks.
okay, mahalo. So I'm just going to take a stab at summarizing what's come up here today so that the staff has an easier time putting it in a letter. And then after that, I'll ask for a motion. So what I've heard, and please, commissioners, let me know if I'm missing anything, is that we're going to recommend to the county regarding condition L that they work with Mr. Tyler and Mr. Medeiros and the Homeowners Association as a potential funding source for this work. And that would be our primary recommendation. And that secondarily, please reach out to us in the future if you need any support for this. And the CRC would love to support you moving forward, are kind of the main comments that I've heard. Jean, please go ahead. I know I probably need help here.
No, based on what I've heard, I think you're correct. One thing I think maybe the commission might consider is, I believe Mr. Medeiros correctly informed us that Protect Keopuka Ohana is in fact a 501c3. So, and since it does seem like there's concern about, whether simply the people in the room today are all of the right people, it may be that the commission wants to consider recommending the organization. And that way the organization has, much broader outside of this meeting ability to loop in all of the right human beings who should be involved. And so my thought would be, you might consider saying Protect Keopuka Ohana, as well as working together with the Owners Association might be the way to go.
Mahalo, that is what I meant, yes. That we recommend that when this goes back to county council, we recommend working with Mr. Tyler and Protect Keopuka Ohana to satisfy, and the Homeowners Association to satisfy condition L would be our recommendations. Any discussion from the commissioners?
I just want to thank Jimmy Medeiros for teaching me how to use the reaction button and the floating. Just mahalo, Jimmy.
Okay.
So, I guess my only comment, I agree with your summary and proposed motion, and also I want to say mahalo to Mr. Baker as well for there's an opportunity here to really cherish this Vahipana. It's not perfect, right? Yeah, we want, but sometimes there has to be compromises, and when those compromises come forward, we gotta make the most of them, and so we appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, Chair, can I ask that we actually get motion and a second, and then
yeah, and I believe the motion
proceed with our discussion
is to prepare a letter that's either reviewed by myself and then goes out to Mr. Baker in the county, or to review it at the subsequent meeting. That's the motion we're looking to make, right?
Okay, so moved.
Comments.
So moved. Go, Janet.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
So we have a motion. Sorry.
Chair, can you clarify?
Uncle Des, you're going to need to clarify whether the letter.
what's in the letter? Yeah, the contents of the letter.
Exactly what Matt said.
And then would it be reviewed by me before it goes out, or do we need to come back to another meeting?
I think to be reviewed by you.
Okay. So the motion is for the staff to draft a letter recommending that Mr. Baker or the landowner, to satisfy condition L, work with Mr. Tyler and Keopuko Ohana to take on stewardship of this land and the homeowners association. And that please come back to the CRC if you need any help with this project moving forward. And we, all of us as individuals and as a commissioner, would be more than happy to help.
I have one more question. So just to be clear, Wayne Dewart works for Georgia Baker, and Jimmy Medeiros is a certified non-profit entity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And did you second that motion, Janet? All right.
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Uncle Des.
Aye.
Commissioner Six.
Aye.
Commissioner Kinney.
Aye.
Oh, I see Commissioner Guayo. Are you ready to vote on this?
Aye.
Aye. And
Sorry.
Commissioner Spielman.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the motion passes. Mr. Baker, thank you for coming before us. Planning staff, thank you for providing your input, and Jean, thanks for helping out.
Yep.
And I really appreciate Curtis and Keopuko Ohana for showing up here and helping us with this matter, and for considering taking on this kuleana moving forward.
Mahalo,
So,
mahalo.
Mahalo, and to Mr. Duarte too for taking care of it for these many years. Aloha. So
Mahalo. Aloha.
this item on the agenda. We are now moving on to new business of the commission. And the first thing we're going to cover here is Historic Place Marker Program Review of Draft Amendment to Hawaii County Code Chapter 14, PLCRC 2026 47. And this is a request by County Council Member Ashley Kirkovich to review a draft proposal to amend Chapter 14 of Hawaii County Code 1983, the 2016 edition as amended, relating to the Historic Place Marker Program for the purpose of establishing a county program to identify and recognize the traditional moku and aupua'a of Hawai'i Island through the installation of boundary markers and the development of a historic place marker inventory, which includes historical, cultural, and geographic information associated with each place. Are there any members of the public who wish to provide testimony at this time? I don't see any staff. Is that correct? Oh, sorry, Curtis, did I see your hand up?
Yes.
Yes,
Just
please go
very
ahead. You have 3
briefly.
minutes.
Yes, 3 minutes. I think this is a wonderful concept. It's something that many of us have called for, asked for, and wished for, because as previous speakers have said, the Aina is the most important part. That's which feeds us, and I think the markers need to be put up. And I would hope that the county would learn from this meeting that there's no such place as Kona Town. Kona is a moku, and so I just want to say that we really need to get with this program. I congratulate for the council member for bringing this up, and I look forward to seeing your strong support for this and the rest of the council. Thank you very much.
Mahalo for your testimony. Do we have anyone here to present on this item?
Chair, Council Member Ashley Kirkowitz is here in the department conference room with us. If you want her to introduce these items, and then you guys can move forward from that.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Commissioners. My name is Ashley Kirkowitz. I serve community as a Hawaii County Council member. I'm coming up to the end of my 8-year term. I've got 3.5 months left, 7 meetings, and so there's a sense of urgency to get outstanding projects and pieces of legislation finalized and introduced. These 2 bills are part of that sort of last hurrah to get into our county code. It's based on experience with community, but also listening to community, as Mr. Tyler mentioned, just the need for residents and visitors to recognize the spaces that they're in. I was involved in several park renamings back to the name of its original historical name. For instance, Waikahi'ula was a park in Hawaiian beaches, previously known as Kahakai Beach Park. Kahakai means beach. So Beach Park was pretty repetitive. And it also did not really showcase like the mo'olelo and the significance of that particular area. And so in collaboration with community partners, community college, like lineal cultural descendants, kids from neighboring schools, we were able to introduce the legislation to rename the park and go deeper, introduce a series of interpretive signs that talked about the history and the significance of the area. I've also been involved in a number of mural projects throughout the community, and there is a desire by local artists to basically put visual voice to mo'olelo around communities. These pieces of legislation come out of robust discussion with various county departments that are involved in implementation. So public works, research and development, parks and recreation, planning, finance, and because the historic boundary marker program for naming Moku and Ahapua'a would involve the state. I reached out to Director of Transportation, Ed Sniffen, and he has conveyed full support for the program and would like to collaborate with the county. The state currently runs a community-driven Ahu Ahapua'a marker program. And what this piece of legislation that I'm offering would do is have the county actually do an island-wide mapping to locate where the signage would be. Some of it would be in county rights of way, some of it might be on private property or on state rights of way. And so wanting to coordinate with the state and private property owners so that when a map is provided for installation, everyone is clear on what their assignment is. We're giving the departments about a year to compile where the signs would be located. And then 6 months after the plan has been presented to do a coordinated island-wide installation effort. I don't believe in a phased approach. I think it's very important for us to do this all at once so that there is cohesion around the island. That is the boundary marker program. And then with mo'olelo and mural program, the Department of Parks and Recreation let me know that they have a number of community inquiries coming in to do murals, to do signage. And so they would appreciate a public facing process that they, and actually all county departments, because this would apply to not just parks, but county facilities in general, that there be a public process for the community to offer artwork and verified signage information for the county to consider before installation.
Mahalo. We really appreciate you bringing these bills forward, and I think they're I'm really excited about them. I just want to clarify that there are two agenda items here. I think right now we're on number 2, which is about the historic markers program. So
okay, thank you.
We're going to move through that first with the commission, and then we'll move on to the next one after. But you did provide that kind of summary of it. There was also a letter that was sent to us, and in particular, we were asked what would the Cultural Resource Commission propose with our role for each of these programs? Are there opportunities to strengthen the cultural consultation and community engagement involved in these? And are there any recommendations that would improve the long-term success and integrity of these programs? So with that, I'm going to open it up to discussion by the commissioners. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I have one, and for me, for the historic place markers is, being an archaeologist, I do a lot of research on historic places. And during the Mahele, there was a lot of government lands where the boundaries of former Aropua'a or Ili are not on current maps, and sometimes they're combined under a single name. I think it's important to consider some of those smaller land divisions that may have been in there, and they do show up on historic maps. So if I think a role of the Cultural Resource Commission could be to help review the maps that are come up with by the various departments that putting these signs along roadways and where they go, and if maybe there's some land divisions that were left off or need to be considered, and also if the different agencies would like help with some of those areas, to provide them with maps they could look at showing the boundaries or guidance. So that would be my manao right off the bat. Anyone else have anything? Please, Janet.
Just going to follow up because Matt knows my whole PhD was on the Ahupua'a of Hilea, Iki, and Hawaii Nui when there was just one Hilea. So yeah, I appreciate your comments that there may be multiple maps in multiple locations. We should work with lineal cultural descendants if they have specific information that's not found in books. It's just a good idea. Things get messed up over time. But I'm really supportive of the idea. We've done this on Maui, and I think it's really powerful. I'm really supportive.
Anyone else on the commission? I'll pose a question. What should be the role of the Cultural Resource Commission with each of these programs? Or we can discuss the sign one first. It's just to review and provide comment on the plan? Or do we want input ahead of time? I guess we have input right now, but
Commissioner, I would say throughout the process, you all bring such a wealth of knowledge representing various districts around our island, but also in your personal and professional capacities. I would want there to be a strong partnership between the CRC and the various departments that are going to be building out the maps, right? I think it's important for us to agree first and foremost, what maps are we using? I'm hopeful that we can work with the university and the community college because they have very strong geography programs. They've worked on maps. Once we can agree on the maps, at that point, the departments are able to make the determination on where best to post each of the signs to denote the moku and ahapua'a.
Thank you. Yes. And do you have an idea what these signs will look like? Are they going to be the ones, I know on Maui they put like a little ahu in the name?
Yeah, so that was a great discussion that we had with county departments. The signs that Maui and Kauai have are very beautiful. I was cautioned against making them too pretty and elaborate because that would increase the possibility of theft. And these are very expensive signs to make. Public Works is also very limited in the colors that they have available internally. There was a suggestion to perhaps just utilize the template that the state has. So then again, there's a cohesive look and feel for the entire marker program on the island. But that decision has yet to be made. Would appreciate your mana'o.
Okay. Janet, please go ahead.
I was just wondering, I know that's probably going to come up in the next bill, but it would be really nice if it gave a definition of what the ahupua'a meant. So it has a name, and a tourist might see it as just a lot of vowels. But if there's some way they could understand what the place names mean, if that could be put on there at all, if that's possible, or translation of the name.
Yeah, Commissioner. So on the sign itself, because it's going to be located on a county or state roadway, we wouldn't want to distract anyone with all that additional information. My personal dream, and I think it's shared by a lot of folks in the room and in the county, is to have like a GIS map layer where the markers are posted. And then over time, we can build this repository of information, the pronunciation, the meaning, all the different mo'olelo and history connected to that area.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I was going to bring up the diacriticals and making sure that the pronunciations are done as well. Kayla, please. Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Councilmember Kirkowitz, thank you so much for bringing this to the commission, and I really enjoyed reading these bills or these proposed bills that you have. What was super cool about them was that I had all these questions from the first one, and then a lot of those questions were answered in the second one. And then your presentation answered some more of my questions. And it's really just well done and well put together. I agree with what Matt and others here have said. You've got some really great archaeological expertise on this commission that could help with the mapping process, along with the college geography department and so forth. I guess the only thing in addition to that I was wondering about is, there's a lot of ahupua'a, right? There's like probably like 500 or 600 ahupua'a across Hawaii Island. Some of those are in remote areas that may not cross roadways necessarily, or paved roadways at least. And I wondered, have there been any thoughts about sort of off-road spaces that people use? Like I was thinking of like in Humu'ula or other spaces where people traverse, and if those could also potentially have some signage or anyways, I was just wondering if there were any conversations about that as well, or even hiking spaces potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, once I think the Moku and Ahapua'a maps are established and we know what's going to be on county or state properties or rights of way and what's going to be on other lands or private property, we'll be able to make the determination on where to place. But I agree, not all of the Ahapua'as are going to be running along like a county road or a state road. And so I think it's very important to align very closely to having the markers where the original land divisions occurred. And some of that is going to be on private property. So negotiations are going to have to happen with those property owners. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
Mahalo. Uncle Des, please go ahead.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Uncle.
I'm mahalo for bringing this up again. Done before. My only concern, I guess, is signage. As you see, as we've all witnessed, they don't read signs. Yeah, people stay out, and they don't understand English. We're said if we're gonna do them in Olelo or Japanese or whatever it is. How do we enforce regulations on stuff like this? Is this included? I mean, we're already overworked with other things, but just seeing the disrespect of Aina with signage there. And this is not the first time we're dealing with signage. There's several properties that's come across the commission about signage. And I really appreciate the way you wrote it up. Or it was like, it's about time, Ash. My goodness. But I totally agree with this. It's my only concern, just people don't read. If this could be placed, I mean, this is a great pathway for curriculum in our schools. Great pathway to when you're arriving in Hawaii, instead of seeing all these wonderful musicians, let's talk about what is to do and what is not to do. Things like that where, again, education, yeah. I mean, they come and they feel like, I paid $5,000 to be here, so I'm not part of this process that they want us to do. And it's no fault of anyone. It's just the way that, the world is today, yeah. Especially with our millennials and our Gen X, generation. They're now adults now. Be quiet, Janet. They're now adults, and they're part of this block of tourists that are coming. And I just only concern I got is how can we really, if we can put one big sign when you sit down on your chair in the airplane, boom, there it is. Do's and don'ts. I know Japan has, New Zealand has, but something like this, because this is a great draft.
Yeah, Uncle.
Moku Kia very different, yeah. So this hopefully gets through the whole state and utilized in a way we can get into the schools for our kids and build from that side. But just mahalo you, Ashley. This is great. I
Thank
move to
you.
accept.
Pardon?
I move to accept.
Oh, can I just answer your question and concern that you raised just really quickly? I think you bring up just a larger issue with what we're feeling about tourism in general and how we want it to be regenerative, but also for visitors to have the right lavena. behavior when they're entering into our spaces. The signs aren't going to solve all the issues, but I think they're a great step in the right direction to ground people in where they are. And then it also creates an opportunity, right, to create that online digital repository of stories so that if folks are curious, they can learn more. But once the signs are up, I'm sure there can be a coordinated, public outreach messaging campaign for community and also everybody that's flying into Hawaii to learn more online about the signs that they see in community. So we got to get the signs up, and then all the educational pieces will follow. And yes, I agree. There's plenty opportunity to take this into the classroom and share with our keiki.
That's right. Moko Keawe as the heritage center to the world.
I love that.
I'll see you Saturday, right?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen because of the storm. I'm getting text messages right now. Yeah.
It's barreling in on us. It's not looking good.
Sorry, Jean, I'm trying to stay in my lane.
So I just want to add to what everyone's been talking about. Like these signs are informational. They're people are going to go by. So if you have this GIS later, one thing we're working on in Maui County is story maps, where you would click on that ahupua'a, pops the story map later, not when you're on the road, not being distracted, and having that mo'olelo and having that information, the place name and stuff. So that's something that moved forward. But I think this is a great start, reclaiming the name, and then being able to somehow better inform the tourists. And maybe someone on the radio could do an interview or PSAs to let tourists know, like, hey, you see this ahupua'a sign? Go to www. whatever. If only we knew someone who's on the radio. Anyway, I'm just thinking how we could it's hard to get Hawaiian Air to do anything on their planes. It's hard to get stuff at the airport. It's federal, but we could get it on the airways. We could get it on we have the hideous visitor channel on Maui, but whatever, a way for people to guide them to this more information. Because I think the more authentic, I hate to use that term because it's hard to have it, but experience is better. So many people have just gotten so, this commercialized idea of Hawaii, and then are really hungry for real information. So I think this is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And DOT also is in charge of our airports. And so Director Sniffen is happy to put any kind of informational signage in Hilo and Kona Airport to educate visitors.
No, that'd be great. Right when you get off, what is an ahupua'a? What is a moku? Where are you? You are here. And then, that'd be awesome. Thank you. That'd be great.
Yeah, of course.
QR codes work well for that too, for someone who just wants to click on it. Commissioner Kinney, please go ahead.
Oh yeah, it just had sort of a thought kind of going along with this conversation. It's kind of a few steps ahead because you got to make the map, you got to work with all the communities, private landowners, and so forth. But wouldn't it be cool if, like, when we type in a location or we're driving using our Apple navigation or Google navigation, that ahupua'a was part of that? And perhaps these signs were called out in our navigation systems that we so often rely on. Anyways, just kind of a thought for down the line. But
as long as they don't butcher the Hawaiian language, I try to get the AI to Hilo. They're like, we don't recognize that name, so I'm just always thinking of how they'll but if you could get a Kanaka to do the voice and record, so that if the pronunciation was correct, because that's one thing I hate when AI tries to pronounce in the GPS. So, but I think that's a great idea. We have all these apps, the Road to Hana, and if those things could be plugged into those apps, or like you said, the navigational systems, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, something for the future. But I think this is really going to improve the accuracy of our ahupua'a maps too. So this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Commissioner, I mean, my time on the council is coming to a close, but I'm going to lean heavily on the CRC to continue to champion the next steps,
you could be
right?
A new member. Sorry.
No, I don't know if we can talk about that right now. But I will certainly support the work of the CRC and kind of championing it, taking this program to the next level. I believe very passionately about, indigenous names, place names, culture being part of these navigation tools as like a tremendous sign of respect to community and host culture. So love that idea and happy to support you folks like championing that with like Google and Apple. Yeah.
Mahalo. Commissioner Glamp, please go ahead.
Thank you. First off, sorry I was late. Anytime you guys got anything that you guys want to put on the radio, I know somebody, And I'd be more than, and she's actually the program director for Copper Radio. So yeah, no, seriously, I'd be more than happy to feature that. And there's a couple of different ways that we can approach that. So Ashley, thank you very much for introducing that. You know, there's already some signs I see, like on the way to, on the Hamakua coastline.
Yep.
And so I don't think are they on the entire island or just?
No, so those are the state signs. They're community driven. There's a process that the state kind of articulated for folks to petition to have that ahu or ahupua'a sign. I don't know if every community has the capacity to do that or the knowledge of the process. And since the county is already looking to do this, my thought was let's just coordinate with the state and do it all one time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because I mean, I drive Hamakua every week, and so I'm just like, you know, I see it here and there, and I'm just like, why isn't it all over the place? You know, I just see a few of them. But yeah, no, it's a great idea. Thank you. I fully support that. And yeah, definitely, if there's anything that we can add on, you know, community service announcements or anything like that, that we can add, not just for this, but for anything, just reach out to me and I'd gladly give you guys some airtime for that. Because it is community service, it is community driven, and we are by FCC regulations required to put out these informational tidbits. In fact, basically 15 minutes of it every month. So, or every week, I should say. So,
thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
We'll take advantage of your kokua. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Mahalo. We're getting close to lunch, and I know you know, Uncle Des needs to get his lunch. So let's I think the motion is going to be similar to the last one about drafting a letter and strongly in support of this program and summarizing our discussion here and offering the CRC's continued support throughout the process, and anytime that you would like review coming to us, and we can help with whatever is needed.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to respond to Dorothy. We're an event coming up in Pahoa. It's called Honi Uika Hinano Ho'olaulea. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this on the agenda?
It might be better to take offline.
Yeah. I'll call you later.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion similar to the last item? We do have one more to get through, so
I move that we create a letter and show our strong support for this item.
Second.
Sorry, and can you just clarify, summarizing what we discussed here?
Yeah, the Historic Place Marker Program.
Okay, and also would it be for the chair's signature, or did they need to come back to another meeting?
I say we can just trust you to do that.
Thank you. So there's a motion to send a letter in support of this program and offering the CRC's help moving forward and summarizing what we discussed here. That would go to the chair for signature. The staff would prepare it. Do I get a second?
Second.
We have a second. I'll just do a roll call vote. Go ahead, Commissioner Hamea.
Aye.
Commissioner Kinney.
Aye.
Commissioner Six.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamayo.
Aye.
Commissioner Spielman.
Aye.
And Chair also votes aye.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the Mo'olelo interpretation program.
Or like a district or something.
Okay, let me introduce it as an agenda item. This is agenda item 3, interpretation program review of draft amendment to Hawaii County Code Chapter 14. Requested by County Council member Ashley Kirkovich to review a draft proposal to amend Chapter 14 of the Hawaii County Code 1983 2016 edition as amended relating to the Mo'olelo interpretation program. Amendments to Chapter 14 would provide a coordinated county process for the planning, review, approval, installation, maintenance, and documentation of interpretive signs, murals, and other place-based educational installations on county property. Council member Kirkovich, has already kind of summarized this. Is there anything you wanted to add or about this specific program?
No, Chair. Just happy to take any questions you might have.
Okay. Are there any questions from the Commission?
No, Aole.
Any thoughts on what our role should be? I guess I do have a question. Is I know these are community members posing different murals and it's art. Is there what is the intended the current review process that you would go through before someone say installed it on the side of a building?
It's not clear.
Okay.
I've been involved in, I want to say my first 6 months as a council member in 2019, working on community-driven murals. And so we did one at Pahoa School, which was informed by the students there. They identified what they believed Puna's strengths were and what we were abundant in, and that helped to inform a mural on the school. And that was a very easy process working with the school. For the more abstract piece that was installed at the Pahoa Aquatic Center, a mock-up was provided to the director at the time, and then the mana'o behind it. So it's abstract colors that reflects the coastline of Puna that was lost, and then kind of like the volcanic energy coming in. So the mana'o was provided, and then there was a council resolution to accept that mural in particular because it was a donation to the county. I don't know of any other murals that have been installed around the island since I've been in office, but in meeting with the various departments on these bills, it was mentioned to Parks and Rec that a lot of community members are inquiring how they would go about that. So they would appreciate just a clear, transparent public process that community members are aware of, but then it also gives guidance to staff on how they should go about reviewing the applications and making decisions. I think anytime that there is like a local, like a mo'olelo that is being utilized, any kind of like cultural, historical components, the review should also include, feedback from the Cultural Resource Commission. The bill does require that anytime historical information, stories, place-based stories are used, that there is evidence, right? That there is a citation so that we know that it isn't coming from ChatGPT, that it is, a verified source of information that is being drawn upon. So there's a lot of verification throughout the process, but I think another, review by the CRC just kind of adds that additional layer of, I think, protection, right? There's some liability that the county is going to be assuming by saying, yep, put this up. We believe in what has been written here. So the more eyes, the merrier.
And what about so the various county agencies would get proposals to do this. Is there one agency that would review them and come to us, or would be based on each agency would have their own kind of system to follow or rules to follow?
I'm hoping that, I think it's important for like everyone's sake to have one clear application process that is utilized by all departments. So I'm going to suggest something in partnership with Parks and Recreation because they've been getting the bulk of the inquiries. But nothing would stop someone from suggesting a sign or artwork at a fire station or at a facility that is managed by Public Works. And so the agency that is involved in overseeing that particular site or building would be the reviewing agency, and they would come to CRC for review and comment.
Okay, yeah, and I think for me, I don't know if it would be like the first agenda item we had is if it's in a certain place, I would also want input from the community members from that place, and not just make the decision as a CRC body on our own. We just maybe would provide.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize that the bill does require socializing the idea with community and ensuring that community voice is part of what is being recommended as far as a sign or artwork.
Okay, Commissioner Kinney, go ahead, please.
Oh yeah. Just wanted to add, as you proceed with these murals and so forth, that and I'm sure this is going to be incorporated in there, but that there's both a biological heritage and a cultural heritage that are inseparable, in that many of these ahupua'a embody different kinds of animals or environmental processes that have been going on for generations and generations, and that the stories that are told kind of maybe can celebrate both of these things together, you know, as they do. And so maybe that's one role, you know, the commission can help with to some degree in making sure sort of, I guess I'm just gonna call it Hawaiian science, you know, or people call it biocultural or whatever, you know. They're inseparable, you know. We're talking about, you know, the same thing with different names, and different connections and perceptions. And yeah, I think that would be something I would like to help with at least.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And in terms of funding, will there be grants or scholarships, you know, for folks? I imagine painting a large mural could be very expensive. Has that been thought through? Will there be opportunities for maybe folks who don't have the money but would like to do a mural or installation? And
you know, that is at the discretion of the administration. I know that we're stretched really thin as a county, and we have a number of obligations to meet for wastewater and other infrastructure. If this is a priority, I encourage my colleagues on the council and community and commissioners to petition during the budget process for there to be funding included and to ensure that it's equitably distributed around the island so that all districts can benefit. This is, again, a community-driven process. There are, outside of the county, there are a number of organizations that do provide grants to murals in community as a way to revitalize space. So there are opportunities. I know that the Department of Research and Development can likely curate that list of different funding options. That's for the murals. I think on the sign side, Parks and Rec was going to get back to me on what it costs to do the signs for Waikahi'ula so that they have a sense of how they might be able to support a number of communities every year in the budget going forward. So for the interpretive signs, there's likely some county funding, but for murals, that would have to be something that the community wants and fundraises for at this time.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Six, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to echo the fact, I like the fact that, you know, it's community driven, because what you don't want is the Disneyfication of everything and big resorts and different things telling the history that's more cutesy or not accurate. So I think that's important because we have a lot of murals in Wailuku, but I remember before Lahaina burned, there was a big push to Kamehameha this, Kamehameha that, and just completely ignoring the Pilani Tufi line. So I think when these murals, whoever puts them forward, that there has to be a cultural group that takes a look and makes sure is their pono.
Can I,
yeah,
thank you for asking that, Commissioner. I wanted to pose another question. There are organizations globally that install murals in community as their business model. And a part of me feels we need to be raising up our local artists, our indigenous artists, to be the ones to create the mural. However, painting on canvas, right, like an 8x8 panel, is very different from painting on the side of a building. So I want to make sure that there is like technical expertise provided to local artists so that their artwork can be elevated. But I think it would be great to hear from you folks in terms of like who should be doing the art. Are we okay with folks from around the world to kind of petition, or are we going to I don't even know if legally we can do this, but can we prioritize this being local artists? And when we say local, do we mean Hawaii local or specific to Hawaii Island?
I totally hear your question because I had a friend that was a sign painter in New York City. And so there's a certain technical ability to make the image and then blow it up. So I think you could have, if you have a local artist, and maybe there's, I don't know how you'd vet them, but I think that's really important to keep it local, whether it's just Hawaii Island or within the archipelago. And maybe you bring someone from the outside to help render that vision. But I really just was kind of concerned with the tourist aspect, where there tends to be kind of this commodification and kind of, you know, sanitized version sometimes of things that are painful. Not that you want to have murals that are painful, but you want to tell an accurate history. And I really liked Kealoha's take on, you know, the biocultural, the things that are important about that particular ahupua'a, and also mo'olelo or mythology. I mean, all the different things that go along. So I just wanted to say, just to make sure that it doesn't get, the people with a lot of money don't start controlling the message.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would hope we could prioritize people from the local communities first, then the Big Island, and, you know, so on. If at all possible. But I think would go a long way. And of course, if there's review, that can come up during the review process.
And local artists working with lineal and cultural descendants that may not be artistic, but have them olelo that could, and so someone maybe I'm a muralist, and what is the story you want to tell? And I'll work with that group rather than the muralist coming up exclusively with the idea. Maybe it could be some kind of a looking at technical expertise and cultural expertise and then getting it together and getting it vetted. So thanks.
Thank you.
But I'm very much in support of it. I think it's an awesome thing.
Are there any other questions? And if not, does anyone want to make a motion similar to the last motion?
Commissioner Spielman, I'll make a motion for staff to write a letter on the Mo'olelo interpretation program in strong support. A letter that Matt can sign. And sorry, what was the other one that I'm missing? Something else?
Summarizing what we discussed here as well. I think something like that.
Okay.
I think that's, yeah.
We're talking about interpretive signage and murals on public facing buildings and what that process looks like. And including the CRC as part of that process. Maybe not the authority in review, but certainly with sharing Manaho and even lineal and cultural descendant lists if that becomes important. But we're still advisory to the planning director, right? So even if, like, let's say Park and Rec came, ultimately it would be a referral to the planning director. And then planning would have to work with PNR on. So if we had a single entity that could come to us, sorry, this is not part of my motion. If we could have a single entity come to us, we would like it to be planning department. But if it winds up being like a sponsor or a different department, that's fine too. I think just our responsibility is we can only write back to Mr. Darrow.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Sorry. So
Interagency communications.
Yeah,
I get it.
But then certainly we could hear a presentation from a different department.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe the motion is letter, Matt sign it, and we're summarizing the summary of the
discussion
presentation on the
Yes,
floor.
and in strong support of the.
I second that.
Okay. We have a motion that has been seconded. I'll just do a roll call. Commissioner Hamea.
Aye.
Commissioner Kinney.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonao.
Aye.
Commissioner Six.
Aye.
Commissioner Spielman.
Aye.
And I am also an aye. I got everyone there, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in today. We really appreciate it, and we really support these programs and think you're doing
Yeah.
great.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commission. Commissioner Spielman was actually the one who suggested getting it onto the next agenda. And so I really appreciate Planning Department for going above and beyond to accommodate the request to review this so soon. We're going to be filing it with our legislative review branch and then meeting the next filing deadline, which is August 27th. So this measure will be heard on Tuesday, September 15th. I'll send details to planning in the event that the commission would like to provide support either in person, on Zoom, or through a written format.
Is that a Tuesday or a Wednesday?
It is a Tuesday. Yeah, the 15th. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Mahalo.
Yeah, thank you.
Mahalo.
All right, that brings us on to administrative matters. Approval of minutes from May 13th, 2026. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Cultural Resource Commission meeting held on May 13th, 2026?
I move to accept the minutes of.
Second motion.
Second. It was moved by Commissioner Almea, seconded by Commissioner Kinney. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Minutes approved for as circulated. Any updates from the planning department staff?
Yeah, Chair, we have a couple. Wanted to just provide an opportunity for, we had myself, Kim, Chair Clark, and Vice Chair Hamea attend the National Alliance of Preservation Commissions Forum 2026 last month in Minneapolis. And so I'll let you, Chair, provide that report. But one of the things that we learned from there is that there are potential revisions to our Section 106 consultation process. If those members haven't heard of that yet, it's pretty significant. And we're still waiting for them to be put into the Federal Register for a 30-day comment review period. But the changes that have been put forth so far really impact and pretty much eliminate the Section 106 consultation process and leave it up to the federal agencies to consult as they want to at their discretion. It also changes the definition of historic property to pretty much limit it to a physical location and remove protections for cultural landscapes. And it also puts the federal agencies in complete charge of at their discretion, sort of what they might avoid, minimize, or mitigate as far as impacts. So it's really substantial, and a lot of folks at the conference that we're at, it happened actually during the conference. So there was a lot of input and discussion happening then. And we've also been in touch with with our CLG coordinators across the state, who were all, we're trying to coordinate as well on this and to provide each other with support and sort of what comments are happening. So there will be more on that as soon as they get posted. It's possible that we might need to do a special meeting to make sure that we meet the 30-day deadline. But I do want to get it on everybody's radar to be paying attention to and provide as much feedback as we can on this. And then one other update, Chair, before you give that your report, is that we do have a new CRC member who will be joining us. Her name is Shauna Kauku. Sorry, this is a hard one for me. Shauna Kalukukia. Shauna Kalukui. Thank you. She is coming from Kauai area. I think she is she might be the president of the Kailapa Association, I think.
What's her name?
Shauna Kaulukui. So we are working on getting her onboarded and should hopefully be joining us at the next meeting. So that's exciting information.
I have a question. Wasn't that already voted on? It's already has been. We were at the meeting.
It's not been voted on.
So what they voted on was basically to move it forward. They rushed that vote, but now it's kind of caught up in what is like the federal legislative research branch kind of a thing before it gets posted.
So they're looking for 250,000 letters in the 30-day window. The Department of OEV Resources in Maui County, we've drafted our letter already. So I think it's important that Hawaii County or the Cultural Resource Commission, and you can do it individually, but it is a horrible bill. It only recognizes architecture, no more sacred mountain, no more sacred landscape, no more consultation with Native Hawaiians or Native Americans. But from what I understand, I went through the historic preservation training a couple of weeks ago, probably by the time you guys are in Minnesota, is that it can be, they're planning on suing. So it'll take a while for it to actually go into effect, but the more voices we can get out there, I think the better. But there will definitely be pushback, even if they pass it. It's like sliding back to the 1950s. It's terrible.
Yeah, you can go to the National Trust for Historic Preservation website. They are taking the lead on kind of fighting this. I submitted my letter today.
Yeah, that's who the training I went the webinar with them. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, staff, if you could send out a link. I'll provide you with a link, and if you want to send it out, everyone can provide letters. And
yeah, you can write a letter as an organization, or you can write a letter as an individual. So you can do both. So I'm writing a letter as an individual as well as being on the signatory for the OEV division. So yeah.
It will significantly weaken the rules and protections for historic properties on federal projects. And we did hear from one of the members of the National Trust for Historic Preservation at the meeting, and you know, he seemed to be very up to date on what was going on and they seemed to have a good plan to fight it. But, you know, in this political environment, you never know what's going to happen. Sorry, Bethany, did you want me to give some sort of a little summary of what we did in Minneapolis, or?
Yeah, just for the other commissioners to kind of hear what was available at that conference.
We were fortunate enough to get invited by the planning department, and Uncle Des and I, we spent a week in Minneapolis with him and Bethany. We did some walking tours of Minneapolis. I'd never been there. It was an interesting city, and they were great hosts. At the meeting were representatives from these types of commissions all over the country. I think, you know, one of my biggest takeaways was how different it is maybe other places, and the stuff they review and a lot of these places are related to historic districts and historic houses, you know, window treatments on these historic houses and reviewing what paint colors and the types of renovations you can do and that kind of stuff. There was very little discussion of maybe indigenous communities or folks who came before, and but with some notable exceptions, which were really amazing, and learning about some of the tribal groups and what they're doing in Minnesota and nearby. And there was some talks that were kind of pertinent to our first item we had today about land exchanges and turning them over to tribes, or giving caretaking responsibility of lands in communities to the tribes who are descended from those areas. It was, you know, I think I'm still reflecting on it, and it was fun spending time with everybody too in the planning department, and we met folks from Alaska and Maui as well on the commissions there. And, you know, had a great time. And Uncle Des is just an amazing ambassador of Aloha. He makes friends with everybody. And it was pretty amazing to see. And it was fun to be with him and with Bethany and Kim as well. Uncle Des, do you want to add anything to that? I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared.
Me too. I mean, you kind of nailed it. There's a couple points that really surprised me, that what you said about involvement of the indigenous tribes, the families there. Yes, we're far away from, I discussed it with the governor or the mayor, I forget that lady from Oregon, and with our hostess, or who spoke on that first day. And their whole conference was centered around structures and buildings. Then when I shared that, well, our structures are a pile of rocks, fish ponds. And she was really surprised, and, you know, saying very ancestral. So we kind of shared a lot about that. I cannot remember her name, but she's from the Owamni tribe, something like that. Shelley Buck. The other one that really surprised me at that one session we went to, it was a cultural one, and I asked, well, the speaker asked, you know, how many of you live on stolen land or native land? I'm not stolen, but native land. And the whole room raised their hands, and there were no blood quantum, you know, they're just living on the land. So, you know, what is the revenue? As the revenue from these non-Indians per se, does that revenue come back to you folks as the landowners? And the guy says, no, it goes to the government. So I said, oh, it's like Hawaii, then we share the crumbs. And the guy was laughing. And we spoke in length afterwards about that. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that we're illegally occupied, and how do we survive, or something like that. But that was the one that really, I don't know, got me really concerned about that, especially what's happening in Hawaii, especially working with Kali and working on that energy thing. But at that session we went to, I asked the guy, you know, and he's like Janet said, and like Beth said, you know, they definitely will go into litigation and stuff like that once it's filed. So yeah, that was surprising to me to have that. Yeah, Aloha works well in Minneapolis. I mean, I've made so many friends, and I still get emails from them. But the one highlight was really getting to know Beth and Kim, and I have some great pictures of Kim, especially, and her personal background, and I tried to hook her up with one of my friends. And he goes, no.
Okay.
No, but what I'm getting at is just wonderful to have this increase our relationships. I feel really family with the commission. I was really good, but I just this one so we went to the baseball game while these guys were at the mall. But anyway, so we get there and then we bought tickets, but it was in the hot sun. It was 94 degrees. Remember that? I mean, and we get there and I told Matt, I need to talk to an official. And he kind of looked at me, what? So we get there and I talked to, hey, aloha. And come to find out, wow, we bought tickets down there. Can we sit here? And he says, yeah, go sit here. Aloha. And my boss is from Hawaii. And so we were like in a suite, in a box seat watching the whole game. But I had a really good time. The food was expensive. There's no McDonald's. There's no fast foods there. So I couldn't spend $10 on a meal. So, but thank you to Beth and to Kim and to Matt. I had a really great time. And as an ambassador for our commission, it was mahalo. Mahalo ke akua.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it too. I had a great time with all of you. And I think one of the big takeaways I remember in one of the meetings is that as a certified local government, our commission does have the ability to insert ourselves in issues. And if we see something that needs changing and we make a difference, we can get involved in that and we can make a difference is one of the things I took away from
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know, anyone questions for Uncle Des about his time in Minneapolis? No.
Mute Janet.
I gotta pee. And if
Okay.
you don't wrap up,
Then
it's
we're
been
moving.
2.5 hours and I'm old AF. I'm just saying. I'm thinking
Okay.
like, let's wrap this up. I'm just sorry.
Does that include conclude the staff updates?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hang on.
Okay,
I
we're
move to
almost done.
adjourn.
The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, October 14th, 2026. Staff for their initial announcements.
October 14th or September 9th?
October 14th is what it says here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a typo.
Okay.
It should be September 9.
September
I'm
9th.
gonna be in Colorado. I won't be
September
around.
9th. That was me.
Okay. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for September 9th, 2026.
Yeah.
This concludes the items on the agenda. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
I have one thing I want to share.
I gotta go. I gotta pee. Honest to God, I gotta go.
I'm a first responder with Red Cross, and I just been put on alert. I just been activated. Just been deployed.
Yeah.
Also from Hokulea, so it's starting to increase and stuff like that. So scheduled. I got activated, deployed. I have to get in there at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Everyone be safe and be prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aloha. All in favor of adjourning this meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned at 12:27 p.m. Mahalo. See everyone in September.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Aloha.